Horrific murder on Long Island. An elementary school music teacher charged with murdering his sister-in-law.
The Nassau County District Attorney says Joseph Horner lived in an upstairs apartment in the same home as the victim.
He allegedly asked her to help him move a piano, but instead he did the unthinkable.
Long Island reporter Krista McNally live in North Massapequa. And Krista, the details of this case just so disturbing.
The details disturbing, and many of them hard to hear as we were sitting in the courtroom today. Now, what we know is that an elementary school music teacher from Oceanside is being accused of strangling his sister-in-law to death. That is according to prosecutors. They say they both lived in this home in North Massapequa on separate levels of the home. Tonight, we are learning more about the victim and the horrifying details in this story. And I will warn you, the details you are about to hear are very disturbing.
Some scary stuff.
Joseph Horner allegedly asked his sister-in-law, Victoria Castle, to help him move a piano in his apartment. Once there, prosecutors say that he attacked the 25-year-old victim from behind and placed her in a chokehold until her body went limp. According to prosecutors, Horner then sexually abused the woman, changed his clothes, and called the police.
In 2023, Victoria Castle posted a photo from her sister's wedding. She was smiling, holding flowers, standing next to the man her sister had just married. And she wrote, "My sister, my person, my partner in chaos, is now married to one of the most wonderful people in the world. I love you both forever." One of the most wonderful people in the world. She was talking about Joseph Horner. The same Joseph Horner who, according to prosecutors, had been secretly obsessed with Victoria Castle since the year 2017. The same Joseph Horner who, on the morning of June the 29th, 2026, lured her upstairs to help him move a piano. And the same Joseph Horner who strangled her, sexually assaulted her, changed his clothes, and called 911. Welcome to 0 Hour Crimes TV. Tonight, we're going inside the home on North Oak Street in North Massapequa, Long Island. Inside the family. Inside the obsession. Inside the wedding photo that nobody can look at the same way anymore. And inside the question that Victoria Castle's family will carry for the rest of their lives. He was right there, in their family, at their table, at their wedding. And nobody knew. Stay with me. North Massapequa, Nassau County, Long Island, New York. A quiet, middle-class suburban neighborhood about 30 miles east of Manhattan. The kind of place where families put down roots. Where people know their neighbors, where a house on North Oak Street is supposed to be safe. 285 North Oak Street is a multifamily home, split into 2 apartments. Horner and his wife lived upstairs. His wife's sister, Victoria Castle, lived on the ground level, the same building, 2 apartments. One family spread across 2 floors. On the surface, that sounds like a beautiful arrangement. Family close by. A sister upstairs. A brother-in-law just a staircase away. But here is what was happening beneath that surface. Horner told investigators that he had sexual desire for his wife's sister since 2017. 2017. That is 9 years of obsession. 9 years of sitting at family dinners. 9 years of holiday gatherings and birthday celebrations and wedding planning. 9 years of looking across the room at his wife's sister and carrying something dark and dangerous that nobody around him had any idea was there. Prosecutors alleged Horner had been obsessed with Castle for more than a decade. More than a decade. He met his wife in 2016. He was obsessed with her sister by 2017. He married the sister he didn't want, while secretly fixating on the one he couldn't have. And he lived in the same building as her. Before we go any further, I need to tell you who Victoria Castle was. Because in a case this dark, the victim can get swallowed by the details of what was done to her. And Victoria Castle was far more than a victim. Victoria Castle was a PhD student at Stony Brook University, 25 years old. A woman who had dedicated herself to science, specifically geology. She worked in the college's geology department as a research assistant. Just 1 month before her death, she posted on social media about wrapping up another year of a STEM program with a symposium. She called it, quote, "another incredibly rewarding moment." An incredibly rewarding moment. That is who Victoria Castle was. A woman who found reward in her work,
Who was building something.
who had a PhD to finish and a career ahead of her and a sister she loved and a whole life waiting to unfold. She also went by Allie, a nickname that speaks to the kind of warmth and accessibility that made people gravitate toward her. Castle was a bridesmaid at the wedding of Horner and her sister in 2023. She stood up for her sister on the most important day of her life. She helped plan it. She celebrated it. She posted about it with her whole heart. She trusted him. Because, why wouldn't she?
He was her brother-in-law.
He was family. He was, in her own words, one of the most wonderful people in the world. She was 25 years old, a PhD student, a research assistant, a sister,
A daughter.
a woman who called a STEM symposium an incredibly rewarding moment. She deserved every moment that came next. She got none of them. If you are watching 0 Hour Crimes TV for the first time tonight, this is what we do here. We sit in the stories that deserve more than a headline. We say the names. We tell the full truth. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell. Victoria Castle deserves a full audience tonight. Stay with me. Now I need to come back to that social media post, because it is the detail that has made this case go viral. And it deserves to be handled with the weight it carries. In 2023, Victoria Castle stood at her sister's wedding as a bridesmaid. She was smiling.
She was happy.
She believed, with her whole heart, that her sister had found a wonderful man. And she posted about it. My sister, my person, my partner in chaos, is now married to one of the most wonderful people in the world, Castle wrote alongside a wedding photo. I love you both forever. Read those words again. One of the most wonderful people in the world. She wrote that about Joseph Horner. In 2023, while, according to prosecutors, Joseph Horner had already been secretly obsessing over her for 6 years. While he stood at that altar and married her sister, he had been fixated on Victoria since 2017. And Victoria had no idea. She posted that photo with joy, with love, with the uncomplicated happiness of a younger sister watching her big sister get married to someone she believed was wonderful. That post still exists. It is still on her Instagram. And now, it is one of the most haunting pieces of social media evidence in a true crime case in years. Because it captures the innocence of a woman who had no idea what was living inside the man standing next to her in that wedding photo. That is the cruelty of this case. Not just what happened on June the 29th, but the years of false safety that came before it. The family dinners, the holidays, the assumption, completely reasonable and completely human, that the man your sister married was safe to be around. He wasn't. He never was.
Now,
let me walk you through exactly what happened on the morning of June the 29th, 2026. And as I tell you this, I need you to notice how deliberate every single step was. Horner's wife was at a bachelorette party at the time of the attack. His wife was gone. Out of the building. Out of the picture. At a bachelorette party, celebrating someone else's upcoming marriage, while her husband was alone in the upstairs apartment with her sister just 1 floor below. The Nassau County District Attorney says Horner allegedly asked his sister-in-law, Victoria Castle, to help him move a piano in his apartment.
a piano.
Think about that for 1 second. A piano is heavy. Moving a piano is the kind of task where you need another person, where it would be completely natural, completely normal, to knock on your sister-in-law's door downstairs and ask for help. No red flags. Just a brother-in-law asking for a hand. Victoria Castle said yes. She walked upstairs. She was trying to help him. Once there, prosecutors say he attacked the 25-year-old victim from behind and placed her in a chokehold until she was unconscious. From behind. He did not face her. He came from behind. Because he did not want her to see it coming. Because he knew if she saw it coming, she would fight back. She would scream. She would run. He waited until her back was turned. According to prosecutors, he then sexually abused the woman, changed his clothes, and called the police. He changed his clothes. After everything he allegedly did to Victoria Castle in that upstairs apartment, he changed his clothes. Calmly. Deliberately. And then he picked up the phone and called 911. Horner called 911 to request an ambulance for a female victim. Police said they found Horner outside the home when they arrived. He was standing outside, waiting, composed enough to stand on the sidewalk and wait for the police he had called. The male caller requested police and an ambulance to this location for a deceased female, Detective Lieutenant Daniel Steller, Deputy Commanding Officer of the NCPD Homicide Squad, said. A deceased female. That is how he described his wife's sister. A deceased female. Inside, police said they found Castle on the floor of that ground floor apartment. She was taken to the hospital, where she died at 9:25 a.m. 9:25 in the morning. Victoria Castle, PhD student, research assistant, bridesmaid at her sister's wedding. The woman who called Joseph Horner one of the most wonderful people in the world was pronounced dead at 9:25 in the morning on a Monday in June. Hit that like button right now. Victoria Castle was 25 years old with a PhD to finish and a whole life ahead of her. Her story needs to reach every corner of this platform. Hit like and keep watching. When Nassau County detectives sat down with Joseph Horner, he told them everything. Cops said Horner confessed to the crime when they first interviewed him Monday, June 29th. He told investigators that he'd had sexual desire for his wife's sister since 2017. 2017. 9 years ago. He said it out loud. To detectives. Without a lawyer present. He confessed to 9 years of obsession. 9 years of being inside this family. 9 years of sitting across from Victoria at Christmas dinner and birthday celebrations and wedding planning sessions, while carrying something that he admitted out loud was a sexual desire for her. The Fox News report confirmed that prosecutors alleged Horner had been obsessed with Castle for more than a decade. More than a decade. He knew her since 2016 when he met his wife. He was obsessed with her sister by 2017. And he carried that obsession silently, invisibly, for 9 years. Until the morning his wife left for a bachelorette party. Until the apartment was empty. Until he knocked on the door downstairs and asked Victoria Castle to help him move a piano. The Nassau County Police Department confirmed Horner had no prior interactions with law enforcement and no previous arrests. No criminal record. No red flags in the system. Nothing. To the outside world, to his students, his colleagues, his wife's family, Joseph Horner was, as his attorney put it, quote, a tenured teacher who is well loved by his students and colleagues. The allegations are not in line with what the community and his friends and his family would believe, Horner's attorney Gregory Grizopoulos told Newsday.
He's been an Oceanside teacher. He's tenured. He's very well loved by his students and his colleagues. This seems to be allegations that are very not in line with what the community and his friends and his family would believe.
Horner pled not guilty to murder in the second degree.
He looks like he's still in shock.
Not in line with what anyone would believe. That is the most chilling sentence in this entire case. Because it means that for 9 years, Joseph Horner was presenting one face to the world and carrying something completely different inside. And the only person who paid the price for that was Victoria Castle. Joseph Horner was not just Victoria Castle's brother-in-law. A LinkedIn page lists Horner as a music teacher in Oceanside Union Free School District. A music teacher. An elementary school music teacher. A man whose entire professional life was built around being trusted with other people's children. When his arrest was announced on Tuesday, June the 30th, the Oceanside School District responded immediately. Superintendent Phyllis Harrington told News 12, according to the Nassau County Police Department, a staff member in the Oceanside School District was recently arrested on charges of homicide. Nassau County officials indicated that these charges have no connection to the school district or its students. We understand that this news is deeply disturbing. This staff member has been placed on administrative leave effective immediately, pending further review. Administrative leave. The parents of children in the Oceanside School District are processing the fact that the man who stood in front of their kids every day allegedly strangled and sexually assaulted his 25-year-old sister-in-law. And the Nassau County Sheriff's investigation shut down the entire North Oak Street neighborhood for 12 hours, from 9 in the morning until 9 at night on June the 29th. 12 hours of crime scene processing. 12 hours of neighbors watching and wondering, 12 hours of a quiet Long Island street standing still while investigators worked. Zero Hour Crimes TV is going to follow every development in this case, from the Nassau County courtroom to whatever verdict Joseph Horner faces. Subscribe right now and hit that bell, because when this case goes to trial, you're going to want to be here for it. On Tuesday, June the 30th, 2026, Joseph Horner was arraigned in 1st District Court in Hempstead, Nassau County. It was very emotional as Castle's family cried and hugged one another in the courtroom. Horner's family was also present and neither wanted to comment on the allegations. Two families in the same courtroom, both shattered by what Joseph Horner allegedly did on the morning of June the 29th. Victoria Castle's family grieving the loss of their daughter, their sister, their PhD student who called STEM symposiums incredibly rewarding moments. And Joseph Horner's family grieving too, because they lost a family member in Victoria, and they're now confronting the reality of what the man they thought they knew allegedly did. Horner pleaded not guilty to murder. Horner was held without bail, and if convicted, he faces 25 years to life in prison. Not guilty. After confessing to detectives on the day of his arrest, he stood in open court and pleaded not guilty. His next appearance was set for Thursday, July 2nd. That is tomorrow. And Midnight Case Files will be watching. His attorney Grizopoulos made a statement outside court that has become one of the most discussed quotes of this case. He said, "These are very serious and disturbing allegations, and there's a very stark contrast between the allegations and his beloved reputation that he had as a teacher, with both his students and his fellow teachers." His family is devastated by the loss of their family member, Victoria, as well as the allegations against their son, Joe. We'll continue to evaluate the evidence as more details are disclosed to us. Beloved reputation. 9 years of obsession behind a beloved reputation. I want to come back to the wedding, because somewhere tonight, there is a woman who is living through the most impossible grief imaginable. She lost her sister, and the man who took her sister is her husband. Victoria Castle's sister, whose name has not been publicly released out of respect for her privacy, was at a bachelorette party when Joseph Horner allegedly killed Victoria in the apartment below theirs. She came home to a crime scene, to police tape, to the news that her husband had been arrested for the murder of her little sister. She was at a bachelorette party, celebrating love and marriage, and her husband was in their building, doing the unthinkable to her sister. How do you process that? How do you grieve Victoria, while also reckoning with the fact that the man you married, the man you build a life with, the man you live with allegedly carried a 9-year obsession with your sister that you had absolutely no idea about? In 2023, Victoria Castle stood at her sister's wedding and called Joseph Horner one of the most wonderful people in the world. She meant it, with her whole heart. She meant every single word. And the man she was describing was already 6 years into an obsession that would end her life. That wedding photo still exists. It still lives on Victoria's Instagram, and it will be referenced in every courtroom proceeding, every news report, every discussion of this case from now until the day a jury delivers a verdict, because it is the most complete encapsulation of what this case is really about. Not just a murder, not just a sexual assault, not just a crime on Long Island, but 9 years of a family trusting the wrong person. 9 years of a man wearing a mask. 9 years of holiday dinners and family gatherings and wedding planning and shared walls in a multifamily home on North Oak Street. 9 years. And Victoria Castle never knew. Before you leave tonight, I want you to think about that Instagram post. My sister, my person, my partner in chaos, is now married to one of the most wonderful people in the world. I love you both forever. Victoria Castle wrote those words in 2023. She was 22 years old when she wrote them, standing in a wedding dress as her sister's bridesmaid, full of love, full of trust, full of the uncomplicated happiness of a younger sister who believed, completely reasonably, that her family was safe. She was 25 years old when Joseph Horner called her upstairs to help move a piano. She had a PhD to finish, a geology career ahead of her, a symposium she had just called incredibly rewarding, a whole life. His next court appearance is tomorrow, July the 2nd. 0 Hour Crimes TV will cover every development from Nassau County as this case moves forward. Drop in the comments, what do you want to know about this case as it develops? What question is sitting with you tonight? Like this video, share it, and subscribe to 0 Hour Crimes TV if you haven't already. Say her name, Victoria Castle, 25 years old, PhD student, research assistant, sister. The woman who called her killer one of the most wonderful people in the world. This is 0 Hour Crimes TV. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and never stop asking why.